Hey folks, I wanted to tell you a little bit of a story. This story takes place when I was a graduate student, so many moons ago. I was taking an English literature class, and in that English literature class, we were studying Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest, a very classic comedy play, and one that I actually think is still great to this day. The situations in it are still quite funny. The dialogue is still pretty razor sharp, even 120 years later now. So if you haven't read it, I do recommend checking that out, or watching a production of it is great too. So we were studying that, and during one of the classroom discussions that you kind of have to have in these literature classes, we, the other students and I, we were talking about the play on words, the sort of pun that exists within the title as related to the content of the play. So the title of the play is The Importance of Being Earnest. These two characters are both pretending to be a third character named Earnest and trying to keep other female characters in the dark about it. So it's the importance of being earnest, but also the importance of having earnest intentions, like acting in a forthright and honest sort of manner. And so we were talking about that, and we're like, this is a really great play on words because, the audience would come with the basic understanding that, it's the importance of being earnest, and then realize that they were naming this character Earnest, and there's some deep comedy there. And the professor was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And we're like, we're talking about this play on words. The importance of being earnest and the importance of acting, being the character Earnest and acting earnestly. And she's like, what do you mean? You have to be earnest. Like you're going to act earnestly. I can't think of any other adverbs to describe this. You're going to act with good intentions, and you're going to be forthright and virtuous. And she's like, you mean honest, the importance of being honest. That's not a play on words. We're like, no, the importance of being earnest. And this teacher, this professor, did not understand that this play that she was teaching kids, The Importance of Being Earnest, that in the title was a play on words that played with the content of the play. She did not use the word earnest and refused to recognize that the word earnest, which as far as I know is like 1,000 years old, existed. That people use the word earnest. She's like, no, I think they're meaning to say honest when people say earnest. We're like, no, I think they're meaning to say earnest when they say earnest. Hence why they use the word earnest. And that was that moment, and this person had a doctorate, of course. That moment was very revealing to me about the culture at universities, sort of what degrees mean, particularly degrees in the arts, and what I could expect out of studying literature. And most of it was very disillusioning. That the person that was supposed to be sort of the master, and we are the students, didn't understand a simple play on words, nor did she recognize that a word in the title of the play, in fact, existed at all. And I'm going to look it up real quick. Earnest, from dictionary.com. Serious in intention, purpose, or effort. Sincerely zealous. Origin, 1175 to 1225. Middle English, earnest. That's a pretty old word. And considering the same teacher actually made us read Canterbury Tales in Middle English, I'm shocked that she didn't realize earnest was a word. But what it really meant to me, what it really said to me, is that the sheep are being led blind. That a lot of your teachers that you'll encounter in a university, especially in the arts, don't really know what they're doing. Not all. This is just my experience, but I think a lot of you can affirm this, that you've probably had some music instructors. I have a music degree. I don't actually have a literature degree. Music instructors, literature instructors that cannot write, do not know what they're teaching, but somehow they get degrees. And this is part of, there is this cultural assumption out there that arts degrees are of a lesser value than science degrees, and I think this really reaffirms that. So I just wanted to share that story with you and put it out there. That was a very existential moment for me as a writer and as a student in general, to kind of see that this teacher didn't get a really simple play on words, and kind of shaped what I did going forward in terms of how I chose to go about acquiring knowledge, and how I approached reading, how I approached everything, right? I started to distrust my masters after that, and began to always seek for the evidence. And you know what? It had a really positive impact on my life, because that moment spurred me on to be much more critical of those that have been placed in sort of authority over me, whether it's intellectual or physical. So anyway, thanks for watching. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All that funny jazz.